My boyfriend slid a property agreement across the table and said, "I need to protect my assets from you." I smiled, signed it immediately, and calmly asked when he was moving out of my house. Derek was a finance bro, or a tech bro. Honestly, I could never keep his job titles straight. All I really knew was that he loved wearing those zip-up Patagonia fleece vests and reminding absolutely everyone that he was a senior vice president of something. Me, I was just his girlfriend, the one with the, quote, cute little online shop. We had been dating for exactly 3 years. I spent my days in oversized sweatpants, packing cardboard boxes in our spare bedroom, and driving a slightly dented 10-year-old Honda Civic. Derek, on the other hand, drove a leased Tesla and loved making little passive-aggressive jokes about how he was the undisputed breadwinner of the household. "It is adorable that you get to make your own hours, babe," he would say, literally patting my head like I was a golden retriever, but someone has to bring home the bacon. I always just smiled, nodded my head, and went right back to taping my boxes. Last month, we decided to buy a house together. Well, he decided we were ready to upgrade, but a few days before we were supposed to meet with the mortgage broker, Derek sat me down at the kitchen island, looking extremely serious. "Look," he said, clearing his throat loudly, "before we officially blend our lives, I need us to sign a cohabitation property agreement. It just protects my assets, you know, in case things ever go south. My financial advisor says a guy in my tax bracket can never be too careful." He basically wanted a legally binding document stating that whatever we put into the house remained strictly separate. If we broke up, I could not touch his investments. "Sure," I said, barely looking up from my iced coffee. "Smart thinking, Derek," he sighed, looking incredibly relieved. "Wow, you are so understanding. I really did not want you to feel threatened by my portfolio." Fast forward to Thursday. We are sitting in this incredibly fancy mahogany-lined office with the mortgage broker, Mr. Davis. Derek practically slammed his leather folder onto the desk. "Here are my W-2 forms," Derek announced, physically puffing out his chest. "$140,000 base salary. Plus, I have $22,000 in mutual funds and 5,000 shares of unvested startup stock." Mr. Davis nodded politely. Then he looked over at me. "And for you, ma'am, do you happen to have the profit and loss statements for your home business?" "Yep," I said, sliding a single, neat sheet of paper across the polished wood desk. Mr. Davis put on his reading glasses. He looked at the paper, then he took his glasses off, rubbed his eyes, and put them slowly back on again. The room got extremely, uncomfortably quiet. Mr. Davis stammered, his voice suddenly squeaking. "Miss, is this correct? Your gross revenue last year was $3.2 million? Derek actually choked on his own spit. What? "Yeah," I said, completely deadpan. "My cute little online shop sells wholesale boutique supplies. I have exclusive contracts with 4 major retail chains." But you drive a Civic," Derek sputtered, his face turning the exact color of a ripe tomato. "It is reliable," I shrugged. "And I don't really need a mortgage, Mr. Davis. I am just going to wire the $1.5 million in cash for the property. I just came today for the paperwork." Derek looked like he was going to pass out. He stared at his measly little W-2 form, and then stared at me in pure horror. "Babe, you're a millionaire?" "I am," I said. Then, I reached into my purse, pulled out his pristine cohabitation agreement, uncapped my pen, and signed my name right on the dotted line. I slid the paper back over to Derek. "And thanks to this," I smiled, "my assets are completely protected. You can keep your $22,000, and I will keep my new mansion separately." I stood up, grabbed my purse, and left him sitting there in his stupid fleece vest.